I grew up kind of a chubby kid. I wasn't super heavy, but I was definitely heavy enough to notice it in the mirror, hate the way my body looked, and hear fat jokes from other people, family, friends, at school. I always cared about how other people looked at the swimming pool growing up. I had friends that had abs. My older brother was built skinny and tall and handsome, still is. And the worst of all was the popular kids always had abs and all the girls loved them. So I had this weird obsession. All the girls want guys with abs, and then all my friends that are like good looking are skinnier or trim, and I'm the chubby friend. I literally looked like in the movie Tenacious D when Jack Black was a kid. That's what I looked like. It was just constant comparing myself to like the popular kids, my brother, my friends, everybody. So I just thought I was repulsive and gross and chubby. I didn't have a ton of success with girls when I was chubby in middle school and high school, but I thought I needed to do something. I needed to change the way I look for other people to find me attractive. And also to find myself attractive too. But first I want to say this video has literally taken me 8 years to post, literally maybe a half hour to actually make. But just building up the courage to finally put the whole story out there online on YouTube. I've made little clips here and there on my TikTok and Instagram, but I've never shared my full eating disorder story. I just felt like I needed to be 150% over this eating disorder stuff to actually share it online, but I don't think that's the case. I just felt like it had to be the right moment, the right time, but the right moment will never come. I've talked about this on TikTok and Instagram a little bit, but not the full story, so let's get into it. This is my full eating disorder journey. Everybody asks, where did it start? Truthfully, I don't know, but the earliest memory of disordered eating was I used to go to this restaurant called Cozumel growing up, and I would just eat and eat and eat these shrimp and chicken fajitas. And I was about 9, 10 years old, and I was just stuffing my face and eating until I couldn't eat anymore. And I almost did this every single time I'd go there. I would throw up in the bathroom afterwards because I ate so much. But as I got older, I got taller and I stretched out, as people said, and I started looking healthy. But I grew into my body, I started working out more, I got taller, and truthfully I did stretch out. As I got taller, I slimmed down a little bit, I got into the gym and started working out more, but I still didn't love how I looked as I was growing into my body. So I was working out a lot, really pushing myself, really watching what I eat. I was eating like salads and avocados and chicken, but then I'd ruin it all with like ice cream or hot dogs or something on the weekend. But this is where it got really bad. I was making YouTube videos on high school, really trying to learn film and photography, all that stuff. And then I fell in love with being in front of the camera, so I wanted to be a big famous superstar and moved to LA. So I started acting classes, got an agent, got a manager, all of that good stuff. Classic LA Hollywood tale. I joined this acting agency, and one of the coaches in there was telling me, hey, you gotta cut, you gotta cut down, you gotta lose weight, you gotta get really trim so you could play younger roles and so you could take your shirt off when you're on camera. So then it was ingrained in my head, cut. Lose weight, eat less. You need to be an actor. You gotta take your shirt off on camera and be sexy, and all the women will love you on TV. This is where the first eating disorder started, which is called orthorexia. It's like being obsessed with clean eating. I was just like getting ketchup with no high fructose corn syrup, and if it was, I would freak out. I was so unfun. I was miserable to take to a restaurant. I'd be like, hey, like, can you like please cook this with like no salt, no butter, no this, no that. But this became so unhealthy. I wouldn't eat anything with more than 1 or 2 chemicals. Everything had to be natural. Everything had to be organic. And it just became so obsessive that it caused me so much anxiety that I couldn't eat something. I was on sweet potatoes, quinoa, and chicken, and that's it. And now I fucking hate quinoa. I will never eat quinoa again. Fuck quinoa. And some people could say this is a healthy eating disorder. That sounds stupid to say. And it got to a point where I thought it was a healthy eating disorder. Because like I said, I was looking good. But then, once again, that voice in my head just kept saying, you need to cut. You need to play younger roles. You need to play on Disney. But that brings us to our next eating disorder. Anorexia. This one was rough and scary. And I'm just gonna say right now, my anorexia is not even the worst that it could have gotten. My mom was scared. My friends barely could recognize me. I was 195 pounds when I started, and I cut all the way down to 130 pounds. And truthfully, I would have kept going, but my doctor told me, hey, something's weird with your kidneys, like your levels are off. I pretty much completely stopped eating. My diet consisted of a few candy corns, half a snack cake from Little Debbie's, and like half a Whopper, and that's it. And I'd be working out. But on a normal day, I was literally eating a grilled cheese with a bowl of tomato soup, and that's it for the entire day. As a big bone, 6 foot tall man, that's what I was eating. But I just kept seeing that scale. I would step on that scale at 190 and I'd be like, whoa, 185. I'm doing something right. I need to eat less now so I can go like to a lower weight. And then I hit 180 and I was like excited, and you hit that. It's like, I think it's probably dopamine that releases in your brain when you see that. You're like, oh, I'm doing it. And then I was 165 and I saw the scale. I'm like, oh my gosh, 165, then 160, then 130. But I would have kept going. I would have probably gotten down to 120 if I could. And I would take pictures of myself in the mirror and see my abs. And I'm like, oh, I have abs. But really, I just looked like a fucking toothpick with a bobblehead on the top. This is also where my hair loss journey started. The anorexia, I didn't have enough nutrients and my hairline looked so sick. It was so good. I wish my hairline looked like that. I was pulling clumps and clumps of hair out of my head because I just didn't have that nutrition that I needed. But this is how I got to the next eating disorder. My mom would come visit me and she would just want me to eat a lot. I'd pretty much starve myself the entire week, eating like 300 to 600 calories every day. And then my mom would come on the weekend and take me to a buffet or something. And she would just be like, eat, get everything you want, because she just wanted me to gain weight. But this was the mindset I had. I need to cut all the way down so then I could have these binges at the end of the week. So it's okay. Or so I could cut all the way down so then I could just work out super hard and put on muscle and then just eat as much as I can. And that brings me to the next eating disorder, binge eating disorder. So here I am, 130 pounds, super excited because now I could eat whatever I want because my mom told me to eat, the doctor told me to eat, and now I'm just going to the gym, half-assing my workouts, maybe working out like 3 days a week, and I was just skinny fat at this point. So then I was even more insecure, but I thought I needed to bulk. And somehow all the eating disorders kind of feel connected, and they all have a similar feeling of anxiety. I gained all of this weight by binging and lifting at the gym, so I was binging until like my stomach hurt, which takes me back to when I was younger and I used to eat until I threw up. It was just like I needed to eat until I felt sick to my stomach. But then I got an idea. What if I just chew the food and spit it out? Then I'm not eating it and I won't gain weight and I'll have minimal calories going into my body. And it got to the point where I was ranking everything best to worst. I mean, I would try all the limited edition Pop-Tarts and I'd rank them from best to worst, Oreos best to worst, all the way to the point where it was, what's the best lasagna I had to the worst. I spent literally years doing this. I didn't have a job. I'd wake up and the first thing I would do is drive to the 99-cent store or drive to Cold Stone and drive to the grocery store. I would drive all around and getting all of these different foods and bring them back home or in my car. And I would just bite of this ice cream, bite of that ice cream, bite of this ice cream, bite of that ice cream, try this candy, and I would chew and spit all of it into like a bucket. I mean, it's gross and graphic, but I used to do this day in and day out for years. It was miserable and I couldn't stop because I needed to know for sure what the best one was, which is so OCD because I needed to know for sure. And I'd go back after I've already tried everything and I would retry shit again just on my normal days. Like, am I sure the strawberry shortcake Pop-Tart is better than this one? So I'd try that one, chew it up, spit it, and I'd be like, is it better than the grape one though? I'd try that one. And then I would just go through and make sure for sure my list was so accurate. Sounds like psychopath behavior. I would get a weird sugar rush because when you're chewing and spitting all day long and spending your whole days doing that, you're consuming a lot of sugar. Sugar dissolves pretty fast. And it got to the point where like I almost went to the hospital because I felt like I was going to pass out from how much sugar I consumed and like how sick I was. And this was my biggest episode of bulimia, chewing and spitting. So I call my mom and I'm like freaking out, like, Mom, like I just ate all of this ice cream and I'm like freaking out. Oh my God, my heart's pounding and like I feel like I'm gonna pass out, blah, 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 blah. Should I go to the hospital? And she's like freaked out. Your child going through that and seeing that has to be so tough. But I ended up not going to the hospital. I never did because I'm kind of more afraid of the hospital. Plus I was broke. I couldn't afford the hospital really. So I just pounded water and it took a few hours for me to feel better. But finally, I went to the Yachty concert and we had a food fight. I threw a hot dog at Lil Yachty. I met him. That was fun. It would literally feel like a blackout would happen during these binges or these chew and spit episodes. I would just get this intense anxiety and then I would need to binge or chew and spit and then I'd do it and then I'd get the relief and then I'd feel sick and it'd be awful. I'd be like, I'm never doing that again. Oh, never again, never again. And always that was a cycle, and I would say that so many times, never again. So if you have an eating disorder, please get help now, like right now. Like try to handle this now, and I know it's hard. I know it's way easier said than done, because trust me, I hated when people told me, but please don't waste any more time, and you need to have a better life. You deserve it. I promise you that. And here's the thing. Everybody's eating disorder is different. And the reason I say mine has a lot of OCD things at play is because it really did. But I do think there's a level of OCD that has some sort of influence on eating disorders, because there's a cycle of OCD that is anxiety to compulsion, aka binge or starve, or chew and spit or throw up, to relief, to back to the anxiety and blah, 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 blah. It's the whole circle. I'll put the chart up. And that's kind of how a lot of my eating disorder and a lot of other people's eating disorders kind of play out in that cycle. And then you always get to that point where never again, one last time. No, this is the last time. It's always just that. But eventually I just got so exhausted and beaten down and upset and just, oh my gosh, I couldn't take it anymore, to where I'm like, I need to make a change big time. And this is how we got back to binge eating disorder. I just thought, okay, let's get better. What is the problem right now? I'm chewing and spitting. I need to stop that. I can't keep chewing and spitting anymore. I need to just eat the food. So then I would just be consuming everything until I got sick, and then I just hit the gym even harder. And I realized not only was the chewing and spitting bad, but also this ranking foods, this whole list of ranking things, it was toxic and making my eating disorder way worse. So I went through all the notes, and it took so much power and effort into me to just delete every single ranking note I had. But I do think something that will help with eating disorders is literally creating a better environment for yourself and realizing what the triggers are and not keeping any of those in your house or near you. But here I am back in full binge mode, eating clean the whole week, and then that 1 or 2 days at the end of the week, binging. And even to this day, I would say binge eating is the one that still is around a little bit. I'd say I'm like 85% over my eating disorder stuff, maybe even 90 actually. I haven't even thought about it in like 2 years, to be honest. I haven't had a binge in probably about 2 years ago. And then before 2 years ago, it was like a year before that. It slowly got better and better. And now I don't want to say I'm fully recovered because I haven't been on a cut and tried losing weight yet, but I'm pretty much there. So what stopped my eating disorder? I got a girlfriend. I fell in love with her. She fell in love with me. We fought every day. No big deal. But she moved in and I was kind of hesitant because that means, how am I going to binge? Oh no. But I found my new binging place. My girlfriend's car. So it helped that the eating disorder wasn't 5 to 7 days a week of binging. It cut down to like 1 or 2 days a week in her car. And like I said again, it's kind of like eliminating the possibility to have the eating disorder. And my worst binge of all time was because of this relationship. Long story short, we went to a bar, we got into another fight, I went home, she was really bitchy to me, blah, 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 blah. I probably wasn't the best either. I go to the taco stand down the street, I get a quesadilla, a burger, fries, tacos, go to 7-Eleven. I don't even know what I got, a donut, a massive Reese cup, a Rice Krispie treat, some other shit. I was like hunched over, just like, oh, that was rough. The relationship ended and I started focusing on myself, my health, my fitness again. So I found another crutch and validation from women. Wow. But that's a different video. So the eating disorder was less at the time. But was it fully gone? That was supposed to be really dramatic. Let's try it again. Damn it. No. But I went a solid 1.5 to maybe 2 years without a binge anymore. But that's what I'm saying. I think it just gets less and less and less and less. Eliminate any possible triggers. Eliminate any possibility for there to be an eating disorder. And just to be clear, eating disorders, it's not a female issue, but it's kind of embarrassing. Like, you can't get a grip. Like you choose what to eat. Like, you're in control of what you put in your body. Like, it's embarrassing to speak out on. So a lot of people don't want to mention their eating disorders. But like, as a man, I think it's kind of embarrassing to speak out on this. For me, I'm cool with it, but like, a lot of guys are probably feel like shameful and guilt of it. And also, I feel like guys want to be viewed as they have their shit together and they're in control of their own body and actions. Some girls I've mentioned this to really don't understand it, and they're just expecting me to have a grip on life at all times. And a lot of people think girls do understand your emotions, and they will understand this and that, but not all of them. And not all guys understand either. It's so bad to generalize anything. And if you don't have an eating disorder, here's the most annoying stuff you probably say to people with eating disorders. Oh, you're eating a salad? Like, oh, Mr. Healthy Guy over here. Oh, you on a diet or something? Oh, are you like losing weight? Maybe it's not the wrong thing to do, but I found it so annoying when people are like, oh, are you good? Like, you triggered? Like, can you eat that? The weird thing about binge eating disorder is if you binge one day, it kind of gave me the permission that like I already fucked up today. So that when I would wake up in the morning the next day, it kind of gave me permission to binge the next day too, which is not the case at all. You're allowed to eat that donut. You're allowed to have an ice cream at night. You're allowed to eat the food. And that is my biggest tip with eating disorder, is allow yourself to eat and enjoy the food. Allow yourself to eat things. Just don't be like eating unhealthy all the time. It's all about balance. Don't wake up, have a donut, and then have an ice cream, and then eat a burger, and then a pizza, and then eat the whole pizza. You're allowed to wake up, eat a donut, have a coffee, hit the gym, lunch, eat chicken, rice, broccoli, and then dinner, you eat 2 slices of pizza, and then you have a protein shake for like a snack or something. That's fine. Maybe not every day. I don't think pizza every day is good, or donuts, but it's like just allowing yourself to eat things and having balance in your life. Easier said than done, but it can be done. Because that's the only time I feel like I have an eating disorder still now, is when I'm not allowing myself to eat things and I'm restricting myself from things and saying, I can't eat this, I can't eat that, I need to lose weight, I need to do this. Not an option. Instead of making a good lifestyle and impressing myself and having a good relationship with food and enjoying my life and enjoying who I am, trying to look better for the world and other people is also a bad thing. It almost feels like a parasite, like infects you with venom or something and takes control of your body, and you just need that compulsion to alleviate all the stress at the end of the day or the beginning of the day or whenever you do it. So some of my ending tips for eating disorder are these. Don't do extra cardio the next day. Don't try to work out more just to alleviate the calories you ate. Don't just eat yellow mustard with boiled chicken and broccoli. Eat like a normal person. After you binge, eat like a normal person, how you would the rest of the week. Don't restrict it afterwards, because it'll just fuel another binge. And here's more of an OCD tip that might be able to help people with eating disorders. Once you get that anxiety and you feel like you need to do it, just let it pass. Have that awareness of, I'm anxious right now. I feel like I'm gonna binge. I feel like I'm gonna starve myself. I feel like I'm gonna snap. Once that anxiety comes, just observe it. You could either refocus and switch to something that is healthy, like work out, do a cold plunge, take a shower, do some push-ups, go for a walk. Just switch environments and just visualize the cloud passing. It takes a lot of awareness and mental strength to get through it, which you have, but it's not impossible, even though it seems like it is. And remember that this is a lifelong battle. As long as you're on the right path, you don't need to find a therapist, get some help. It's possible to get better, and please take action on this. Don't live the rest of your life and waste more time in this state. And as I'm getting older, I'm realizing girls don't care about bodies as much as you think and looks as much as you think. I know guys are shallow, but I don't think guys do either. It's kind of young thinking to like want to be with someone because they have a hot, sexy, skinny body or muscles and abs and stuff. You know, obviously attraction needs to be there for the person. Do you really want somebody that just only wants you because you're hot and like you have a smoking hot body anyways? But it's a lifelong battle. You can do it. I promise you that. Remember, it's all about direction, not speed. Just slow and steady wins the race. If you want to know any more stories or tips from my eating disorder, I think I just laid it all out on the line right here. But comment down below and ask some questions if you have any. Remember to keep doing the good habits that help you with this. Don't stop doing them because you will revert to it. So keep growing and keep doing good. I promise you can get through this. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you made it this long, I mean, shout out to you because I really don't know if anybody's going to make it this long. I love you.